What do you think about the number?
I'm actually pretty surprised by it too, but when I think about it more, I guess like since the media does portray more of those stories where the person is unarmed, so again, like it makes me think that there are more cases of unarmed things, but clearly there's not.
Yeah, clearly.
So 22 out of 233 black people who police killed in 2016 were unarmed. 22 out of 233. Okay? So now the question is, so that means you have a 0.6 chance in a million.
Keep in mind, it's between about 6 and 24 black people that are killed every year. I mean, it's depending on the year you look at, you know what I mean? I looked up a year, last time I looked something up, it was 12 black people were killed and 24 white people were killed. So it depends on your year you're looking up, but they're all pretty similar, you know what I mean? Like white people, they usually are killed from, you know, say 20 to 30, you know, white people every year. But it depends on the year you look up, but they're all pretty much similar, okay?
0.6 chance, about half of 1% in a million of being unarmed, black skin, and killed by the police. Of being unarmed, half of 1% in a million. About half of 1% in a million of being unarmed, black skin, and killed by the police. About half of 1% in a million. About half of 1%. About half of 1% in a million of being unarmed, black skin, and killed by the police. So now...
Well, I bet you $1 million this racist white chick and this racist black chick, I bet they still will have their bias about how cops are racist and white people are racist. I bet you $1 million.
When you answer that guy's question, am I next? What would be your answer to that question?
I don't know, but I bet you $1 million she's going to say, oh, it's still, you still got to watch out. You're still unsafe.
22 out of 233 black people, I think that's a lot.
Go with the bottom one.
At the bottom?
0.6 out of a million. If he stays unarmed, you say, bro, listen, in spite of how you're dressed, in spite of who you are, if you remain unarmed, right, that's the likelihood of you being killed by the police.
I think it's a lot because even 0.1...
Oh, my God. What is...
would be a lot to me.
So it goes back to what Brianna said. Mm-hmm. Brianna, right? Brenna?
Yeah.
What Brenna said. It's like it's still to that one family. It matters.
No, it doesn't change anything, okay? If someone got killed by whatever, it doesn't change the fact those are still good numbers. You're asking for perfection over millions and millions and millions and millions of interactions between police and the society. You're asking for perfection. Yes, it is too much to ask. Okay? This is insane that these fucking kids are so childish in their thinking that they refuse. That's what happens when you're a supremacist. This is a black supremacist, and I know this chick is white, but she is also a black supremacist. And it's just so hard for a black supremacist because they think that they're gods, okay? And so they can only have perfection. If they don't get perfection, supremacists they can't handle it.
Okay, and so what I'm going to say to the two of you is, look, is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? It's like it just depends. We can argue that that's a high number. We can argue that's a low number.
No, you can argue it's a high number if you're an idiot and you're such a supremacist, that you're such a narcissist that you can only accept perfection. That's the only way you can argue that those are high numbers. Say they're high numbers. That's bullshit.
We can argue it's exaggerated. We can argue like, no, man, it's not exaggerated. It's still really high. Like, what is it? You can make the argument in lots of different directions. But what I want to say is, look, if we're going to make the arguments and if we're going to get involved in protests, like, can you go to the next slide, bro? No, hang on, go to one more. if you're going to protest like that, but this whole thing is based on police violence against black and brown people. So if you're going to protest, really step out in this way, you got to know what you're protesting. It's really important to understand what it is.
What's funny is, they go out and they interview these pieces of garbage that protest everything now, and most of them, they're like, well, what are you protesting? 90% of the people, I don't know, I'm just here because I know I want to protest something. Like, what the?
You know what I mean? Is it like 600 unarmed people, or is it, hang on, 42 or 48, or like, what are we looking at here? Like, is it a genocide? So when I see someone holding a sign up that says, stop the genocide of black people at a protest, and I'm saying, go back, can you go back 2 slides? I wouldn't call that a genocide.
22 people a year, black people.
There's a lot happening here, but that's not what I would call it.
22.
And so for me, as someone who's talking about race relations, who sees these things from lots of...
And if you think about it, the last 22 that were unarmed, most likely they're going into their pockets. This is after, they're going 10 miles down a road, 80 miles an hour the whole time, swerving and being chased by 10 cops. Then they run into a telephone pole, jump out of the car, and then they start going into their pockets and get shot. I guarantee you a big percentage is that, okay?
Perspective. It's really important that we...
And if you think about it, even that 22 is high, okay, for most statistics for each year. Like I said, they vary. But let's use the 22, okay? Let's say there's 25 black people that are unarmed. That means a half of a black person in each state every year is killed unarmed. You got to have a brain, at least 90% of that has nothing to do with racism. So let's say you got 10% left over, right? What is that, 2.2 people? How do you divide that up to 5 states, 50 states? And it only happens once a year? That's actually really good. That is really good. Even if 10% of those were racism, that's actually pretty good, because there's going to be just as many shootings from getting white people too, and all the other races. But they only want perfection they only want it to be against the law to call names to LGBT or blacks or this or that, because they're supremacist. Nobody has that right to have no one call them names. Okay, nobody.
Know what we're talking about so that we can be confident and have realistic and good conversations. Because I agree with you. I mean, yeah, it's still high. And yet...
See, this professor, even though I really do like him, I have a lot of respect for him, he is somewhat woke. He is a hippie, okay? He also, but he's more logical about it, you know what I mean? He thinks that perfection is really the only thing that's good. If it's not perfect, then the numbers are too high. Like, grow up, you child.
It's not what most people think. If I took a microphone, if I went to that protest in St. Louis last week and I walked around with the microphone and I started asking people, hey man, how many people was it last year? How many people? And each one of those, and even the people who are armed, it doesn't matter. It's a life, right? But if I...
No, damn it. It is not a life. If you're murdering someone and you're raping people and you get shot and killed, fuck that guy. I'm so tired of this, how we need to protect criminals and rapists and murderers and pedophiles. They are not people. Okay? A person who rapes a child is not a human being. They don't deserve human being rights, okay? You fucking pieces of shit. These leftists, these racist pieces of garbage, they just love pedophiles so much. They just fucking goddamn love them.
I start asking that question, people are going to give me these really, really high answers. I'm sure 5,000, 8,000, I have no idea. It's like, no, man, that's not bringing us where we need to go. Okay?
The media tries to push that all white cops are racist, which is not the case. It's not the case that most police officers are bad.
You know what's funny is that, the leftists, when Biden was in, they'd go to these cities, these black cities, to tell how, because they got the cameras, because they're congressmen or whatever, you know what I mean, to tell us how all the police in this black neighborhood are racist and stuff. And a couple times they went to the police station and the police were coming out like to line up, you know what I mean, like they were doing some kind of parade or something, you know what I mean. Like 90% of the cops are black. while they're they're berating the whole entire police force that's all black, that how they're white evil racist. How do you do that? And what's funny is they put it like the newscaster would have the congressman here, and they do a split screen so that you could see all of the people on a police force. So they're showing you at the same time that all these police are black, while the congressman is calling them evil white racist. It makes no sense. Just like the LGBT. They'll do it. They'll do a split screen where some guy that, some politician or activist is saying LGBT is unsafe, but at the same time on the other side, just because they got to do a split screen, they're showing the school where hundreds of kids in the school have LGBT stuff. They got banners. They're saying we love screaming. We love LGBT. The flags all over, LGBT flags all over the school. They're showing this at the same time while the politician is saying how they're unsafe because some parents that aren't even in the school, that the kid will never see, okay, are complaining that they have LGBT flags in the school. So they're unsafe. They're unsafe. It makes no sense.
At people or are racist. Are there racist people? Are there racist police officers? I'm sure there's racist black ones. I'm sure there's racist white ones. I'm sure there's racist Asian police officers. The biggest problem, in my opinion, in the black community is the fatherless home problem. It's over 30% of the black families in America that the kids are in fatherless homes. And if you look at the statistics on fatherless homes, the teen pregnancy, 70% of teen pregnancies, I think, or maybe it's 80 now, are from fatherless home. Incarceration rates, over 77% of people that are incarcerated in the black community are from fatherless homes. School dropouts, over 75% of kids that drop out of high school are from fatherless homes. Having a dad at home helps.
See, this is what the feminists, because you got the feminists, the female supremacists, the black supremacists, the LGBT supremacists. But you tell them things like, thousands of black people are being murdered by other black people. Maybe we should stop that and not care about that one white cop that shot a black man because of racism. Because if there's 22 blacks being shot, they're not all racist. Even if there's at max maybe one guy a year, and you concentrate all on that while you leave away. Same way with the feminists. There are data. It's facts. 90% of kids that are homeless because they ran away from single mother homes. 90% of runaway kids are run away from single mother homes. High school dropouts, 71% from, and keep in mind, only 23% of the kids in this country are raised by single mother homes. But yet 90% of the homeless kids are because of them? How is that possible? Same way with 71% dropouts. How about kids that are in mental institutions? 70% from single mother homes. Youth in prison, 80%. Behavior disorders, 80%. And what about rapists? 80% of rapists come from single mother homes. And yet you tell them this, and you're a misogynist, racist piece of garbage. They are destroying a society with this crap.
Tremendously, especially for young boys that are aggressive, and you're at home with a single mother who doesn't really know.
It's just like the blacks. The blacks create their own problems, just like the women. They create instead of saying, we shouldn't have single mothers unless they're like the baby or something till 5, then they should go to the dad. That would be the responsible thing if you had a heart in your. But these women, just like the black people, they laugh. They laugh when they hear someone bring up that thousands of black innocent people are being killed by black people. They laugh at it. They don't care. They have no heart. None. Nothing overpowers their hate for white people. Same way with women. Nothing overpowers their hate for men. They would rather have little girls be raped and raise people that drop get pregnant when they're 10. They would rather see that. They don't care about little children. Okay? All they care about is that they're feminist, they're female supremacist, and that's all they care. They have no heart, no soul, no conscience.
They know how to raise a young boy. Often they're taught by women. Their whole life is, people teaching them are women that, again, they're not men. And this is why you see a lot of this aggression and the feminization of men in North America. And look, fathers need to be more present. The women, I get it. They have incentive to break up the family home, right? They get the house, they get the car often.